Kevin Hart. What's going on?
What's up, buddy?
Hey.
How are
What
you?
up, Jim?
How you doing, man?
How you doing, man?
I'm very well. I sent you a text. I didn't hear back, so you probably didn't get it. I read
Oh, he got it.
the majority of your book. I read.
Did you like it?
I'm not even being polite. It's one of the best biographies I've ever read.
Thank
it's
you, man.
Fucking amazing.
Thank you, man.
I
Put a
blew
lot of
through
work into it.
150 pages on the way to Europe. I couldn't stop reading your book.
Thank you, man.
I know you a long time, and there's so much stuff about you I didn't know.
It's a lot. Well, first of all, the reason for writing the book was for that. You know, I think there's a lot of levels to, and I hate to go third person, to the individual of Kevin Hart. You know, and I think what I want to do is share information that can be valuable to people in their journey, you know, or their road to success in whatever it is that you're doing. I think information is key, and so many people hate to share information. So many people are selfish with information, and I think my road is a road of hardship. You know, it's a lot of bullshit that I went through to get to where I am today.
A lot of violence you saw. I didn't know you saw that kind of violence growing up.
Yeah. My dad was a cookie, man. He was a character. He
really was.
Yeah, he did a lot. So
You saw your father was bleeding from being hacked up with an axe?
my dad got hit in the head with an axe. When I went over his house to go see him, which my mom hated to do because her fear was we don't know what happens over there. And one of the times where she was like, "Fine, go," my dad got in a fight and the guy hit my dad in the head with an axe. He came back with a towel. Towel was fully blood, like just no white left in the towel.
That had a logical explanation, though. That was refrigerator repairman beef, right?
It was originally, yeah, it was,
That's what happens in that
the
game.
other refrigerator repair
Yeah.
guy was jealous because I was better, and he hit me with the axe.
Do you think that's the real reason now?
No, of course not. No, absolutely not. But back then, when you're a kid, it makes sense. Oh, God, Dad, well, you got to stop being so good at refrigerator repair.
He just wanted to take the opportunity to give himself a pat on the back.
It was that. It literally, like, I mean, between seeing my dad get jumped, me and my brother saw my dad get jumped, and before it happened, he was like, "Y'all go home. I'm about to whoop these guys' ass." And like he clearly knew that it was gonna go the other way.
Do you think he whipped their asses?
No, he came back, and the results were obvious of what happened.
He got a
But
beating.
He didn't even acknowledge it. He's like, "Y'all hungry?" And he's like, "What? Look at you, man. You all right?"
Does that
Hold on.
scare you when you see your father? Because your father is like such a strong figure in your
Yeah.
life, and does it scare you when you see a strong figure like that be beaten up?
It's a different level of reality as a child. Like, your dad is a hero. You know, there's nothing that your dad can't do. If your dad say he can do it, as a kid, you believe it. If I say, "Hey, y'all want to see me jump on this roof?" Yeah. All right, watch. Everybody back up. Whether I do it or not, my kids are the only people out there that's like, "Dad's going to do it."
Yeah.
They have nothing but belief that you can do what you say you can do. So when you start to see the guy that you saw that was invincible in your mind, when you start to see those layers get peeled away, it does have an effect. You know, it is like, damn, like, Dad is not who we thought Dad was.
Not a superhero.
Oh my
He
God,
lies
you know?
and steals.
Yeah,
and
Yeah.
it's a lot of shit in here,
Yeah.
with Dad.
You just thought your dad was this amazing refrigerator repairman who beat everybody up, and you're like, no, he's
Yeah,
not.
No, he's not. No,
No, he does
Apparently,
drugs.
Dad does drugs and steals refrigerators. It's the complete opposite.
My favorite part about the beginning, it seemed like your childhood was very confusing because like a lot of the stories, as I'm reading them, I feel like I kind of know where they're gonna go, and then they just go in a completely opposite
left.
direction.
Yeah.
Like when your dad's driving you to school, and he goes, "You know, son, you're gonna be okay," and I'm like, "Oh, this is gonna be one of those sweet stories," and he goes, "Because you know we all got long dicks."
We got big dicks. Yeah, we got big dicks. That is a true piece of advice that my dad gave me. Like, I was just like you. I was
Right.
waiting for the gym. I was waiting for the piece of life that my dad was about to drop on me, and he's like, "We got big dick."
And you're just
Like,
a little
I
kid,
got a
like,
big dick. Your brother got a big dick, so you got to have a big dick. So we gonna be okay. I was like,
I wish my father gave me advice like that. I heard about Kevin's dick fucking way back. Keith Robinson. It was horrifying. Keith said that his dick got thrown out of the room when Kevin showed up.
So his dad was right. He did grow into it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. That's a piece of Kevin Hart lore that's true, and it really annoys me.
That's very true.
It really-
That's very true.
I will just say that there's one time at the Comedy Cellar that he showed it to a waitress who requested it, and she came up, "Oh my God! Oh my God!" It really is true, and that was.
And then that confusing moment comes back, and you're like, Dad's right. I'm gonna be okay.
I'm gonna be okay.
I'm gonna be all right.
I didn't know what he meant by it back then, but here's where that helps you at. Your confidence is always at a high level because you know something that people don't know.
Yes, because people, you are very confident, and people look at you like you shouldn't be, but you are extremely, long before fame, long before money, you're a confident guy.
I was always confident.
And your mother, too, like, I understand a lot more about you after reading this, because you really are a hard worker.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you're always doing something. You're always motivated. You're not asking anybody to do anything and make it happen for you. You're doing it.
Yeah.
And then I see how you were raised with your mom and how she kind of didn't let you do anything and had activities. It's like, oh, now that kind of makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Your mother really.
My mom was strict. My mom was very strict, but she was strict simply because she saw the mistakes that she made with my brother. She was more lenient with my brother. You know, my brother was able to go out and come and go as he pleased. You know, there was a curfew, but it was late. And that's when my brother was in the streets. My brother sold drugs. My brother was stealing at one point, you know, snatching purses and robbing people at gunpoint. He got caught up into a bad life as well. So with me, it was, no, you're not doing anything. You're not going anywhere. You're not going to leave my sight. I'm going to put you in an extracurricular activity that takes up all your time. That's why swimming came about.
Oh, right, yeah, you swam for years.
I swam from the age like 8 or 9 until the end of high school. So I never had free time. I didn't have room for error, and that's what she made sure of. She didn't want me on the streets at all. She didn't want me to become a product of my environment. She didn't want me to grow up like my dad. And I mean, that was tough on her because ultimately you grow a little bit of hate. You grow some resentment as like, yo, you don't let me do nothing. Like, and why don't you let me see Dad? And she got tired of hearing that. So I remember the biggest lesson she taught me was, you know, she was like, you know what? You want to see your dad? You want to go live with your dad? Because I kept saying I'm going to run away. I'm going to go live with Dad. I don't want to be here no more. You know, you get to that age as a boy.
You want freedom.
Puberty done kicked in. I'm tired of you treating me like I'm a boy.
I'm a man.
Yeah, I'm a man, damn it. You know, I'm 16.
That's right.
Time for me to hold my own in these streets. She's like, you want to live with your dad? Then you know what? Go. All right, fine. I can go. Go. Get your stuff. Go. I will. Dad, Mom said I can come live with you. Come on. You know, my dad he don't ask no questions. Come on.
He didn't do any checking.
No checking. Didn't want to know where my school was. Didn't want to know if I had an extracurricular activity, anything that I needed to know about or do. Didn't ask none of that. Come on. I get to my dad's house. This is a true story. My dad had about 7 or 8 people living in this place. I didn't know any of them. There was no electricity. They had a plug, and it was like a cord that was hooked up and ran from like an abandoned house. There was still any electricity. So the electricity came from somewhere else. There was no hot water. And to take a bath, there was no like tub. They made me like put water in a basin. And he was like, put the water in the basin and heat it up next to the kerosene heater and then use the basin to wash up. And it was like just the worst living condition that I've seen. Now, granted, for my dad and the people there, that environment was comfortable. That's all they knew. Mm-hmm. But I was like, wait, where's the tub? Where's my bed? You know, I was on a couch and there was other people around the couch. And I'm like, what the fuck?
Was it at least neat and well kept in the area? Oh.
No, not
messy.
at all. And I remember calling my mom that same night, and I was like, you got to come get me. And she was like, the hell I do? You want to live with your dad? Live with your dad. And I was like, well, I don't want to live with Dad anymore. I didn't know that Dad was living like this. No, you know everything. What I'm doing is wrong. So if that's what you want, then that's what you go and get. And she made me stay there tonight. And that was like one of the toughest nights. And I have nothing but love for my dad, but it was just tough because I'm like, who are these people? And look at where I'm at. Like, I'm on a couch. I'm not even comfortable. And my mom came to get me the next day, and it was basically, if you're going to live under my roof, you're going to live by my rules. Okay? Stop battling me. Stop thinking that I'm doing what's wrong for you when I'm thinking I'm doing what's right. And she never down-talked my dad or never made me feel like my dad was an enemy or like he was doing these wrong things. She's always bigged my father up because he was my father, but she allowed me to see things on my own as I got older.
Did you ever resent him? Like, did you ever get mad at, because there's some stories about your dad in the book that are really kind of staggering.
Yeah.
I never resented my dad. That's a tough word. Never. I don't have any level of hate. Of course there was disappointment. There was high levels of damn, I thought Dad was coming to pick us up today. Or damn, man, I ain't seen Dad in I don't know how long. He's not picking up the phone. He's not answering the calls. There's a level of what's going on with Dad. It was never a thing where it was like, man, my dad ain't shit. I don't have that in me. I never have. And my mom never talked like that to help ignite a flame that would put that in me. So when he went through his problems, he went through them on his own until my brother felt that I was old enough to handle the information, and he told me, Dad's on drugs. It is what it is. We can't help him until he wants to help himself. And my dad had resentment and a grudge because my dad stole from my brother. When my brother was building his barber shop and he brought all the equipment, he wanted my dad to do the electrical work.
Just to kind of help your dad get back on his feet.
Help him get on his feet, put some money in his pocket. And then my dad was doing the job for a minute, and then we come back one day, everything was gone. My dad stole everything. And that's my brother it went black for my brother after that. So it took me talking to my brother to get my brother to forgive so we can finally get my dad help.
So you look at all this stuff, and people who think like, oh, Kevin just kind of came in. You didn't have it easy coming up.
No.
You didn't have it. You didn't get handed a deal when you came into the business. I mean, you were in the business for quite a while before anything
A
happened.
long time, man. I mean, I got 19 years, almost 20 years in the business.
So what gave you that patience? Because like you said, around you, it was a lot of culture, quick money. Your dad stealing, your brother selling drugs. Like you saw people not being patient about it. Like, no, I'm 16. I'm a man. I can go. I can sell drugs. I can steal. I can do this. I can get money right now and be the man. And that doesn't really match up with, driving to New York to do comedy.
Yeah, well, you see the consequences of it firsthand. I saw my dad in and out of jail. I saw my dad being addicted to drugs. I saw my brother sell drugs. I saw my mom find drugs and beat the shit out of my brother. And my brother be forced with an ultimatum of jail or the army. Like, pick one. And he chose the army, of course. I saw literally no high reward from the negative route. I saw that. I saw it firsthand. So when it was time for me to make decisions, the one person that I saw with any type of consistency was my mom. It's not that my mom was rich or not that my mom was successful and financially stable on a high level. My mom did what she had to do to make sure that we were taken care of. And, those lifestyles were not cheap. Granted, where we lived, the cost of living wasn't crazy. So when I say not cheap, I'm saying I was on a swim team. That was very expensive. We had to travel. There was hotels. There was bus rides. There were, carpools. There was different levels of fees that come up. It's a traveling national swim team.
And she's doing all this to keep you out of the streets and to keep you from getting fucked up outside the house.
All of it was done on that side. It was all done on that side.
I laughed out loud reading when you were talking about stupid Keith, and you said he told you your name. Were you Lil Kev at that point?
Lil Kev the bastard.
Lil Kev the bastard.
Yeah.
You told the first thing he tells you is that your name is awful, and you pointed out how he had the worst voice you'd ever heard.
your name is awful, stupid.
Yeah, ain't good.
The worst tone behind a human's voice that I've ever heard. Like, I've never heard anybody talk like that. I thought it was a joke. He's got to be joking. He's got a voice box, and this is a trick.
You reminded me too, man, of how cruel Lucian was from the comedy, from the comic strip. He's dead now, so we don't like to speak ill of the dead. But I don't like the guy. I don't think he was a good guy. I think there was an honesty to him, but there was an unnecessary level of cruelty to people. He liked being mean to comedians. He liked being fucking cutting and vicious under the guise of being honest.
I mean, that's the first guy to hit me with honestly, that was my first rib shot. I think we all take body blows in the entertainment business. There's always something that happens that makes you go, oh, like, damn. Like, there's moments where you got to take the knee. Lucian was the first person to put me down to where I had to take a knee. He was basically, he told me that I needed to find something else to do. It was that blunt. I got off stage. I had a great set. You know, granted, my material wasn't great material. I'm new. I'm green. But I had a great set. The crowd enjoyed me. And I thought that I was going to the back to talk to him about coming to the comic strip and doing spots. And instead, it was just, I don't see it. I don't see this being your craft. You know, I think that you should definitely look into doing something else because this isn't it. This isn't for you. And that's the first time that I heard that. But I had a guy like Keith that I was so close to that I told him, and I'm expecting Keith to be like, damn, if Lucian said that, it's something. And Keith was like, fuck Lucian. So what? Come on, stupid. Let's go down to the cellar, get something to eat. And I was like, eat? I can't eat at a time like this. My life is over. Shut up, stupid. Get in the car and we'll go to other comedy clubs. Fuck Lucian. Like, it was so nonchalant and it rolled off his back. And when I saw that, I was still affected by it, but I was like, man, I don't know how he's acting like this is no big deal. This is me. This is my career. It is a big deal. And then we get down to the cellar, and everybody there is just, so what? Whatever. And we all were so vicious to each other, and we all were so mean to each other. But what we really did was prepare each other for the word no that could come at any possible time. We made each other comfortable with the fact that we were okay. We're gonna be okay.
And it's also like the guys, like we would attack each other and it's all hack court. But you only did that with guys you liked and respected and guys you genuinely thought were fun. It was like nobody took a guy who was really a bad comedian and just sat in there and attacked. It would feel like attacking an audience member.
Yeah.
So the guys that we took to hack court, like we all dropped bits. No one ever won in hack court. Like, no one ever.
It was like that court in Batman.
No.
When you can either like get killed or you have to walk in the across the fucking frozen river.
Those
so
were
you're
your
gonna
options.
die anyway.
It's never going to be like, you know what? That was actually a good joke. We're incorrect.
Never. You were never coming out of hack court right.
No.
You were never coming out with people going, no, guys, that's a good bit. I remember arguing y'all down about the midget bit. I had a midget bit.
The midget robber?
Yes, the midget robber. And I thought that this bit was one of the best bits ever. It was a bit about how I got robbed by a midget, and it was a cross-eyed midget, and I didn't know he was looking at me when he was robbing me because he was cross-eyed.
Right.
And instead of using the gun, he chose to headbutt me. Now, granted, now this is saying it out loud today, I get where they were coming from.
You see the error of your ways now. Yes, you do.
I see the error in the ways, but back then, there's no way that you can tell me that me saying because the person was cross-eyed and I didn't know who he was robbing. That was the whole genius in the bit to me. I was like, my punchline was, how was I supposed to know you was robbing me when you was looking at him? Come on, man.
There it is.
Yeah. It did get laughs, too.
When I tell you, they beat this joke up so bad. I just remember Patrice O'Neal, he kept making me repeat. So who's, because I'm in head court, so I don't realize
You
what's
have to
going on.
testify in your own defense.
So he's like, so let me ask you again, little dummy. Patrice used to call me little dummy. Who's robbing you again? I kept going, the midget. He's like, right. Back up to the beginning. Who has the gun? And I was like, the midget. I just kept making me say the midget. And every time I would say it, he would act like he was jotting something down. And he's like, this is why this joke stinks. And he was like, the midget is not fun. It's not funny. I was like, what about the cross-eyed? Like, I fought this joke so bad, but I love that they were so vicious, man. I have nothing but respect for Norton, Voss, Patrice, Colin, Keith, Burr. I mean, that table of people that we put together, man, that sat and just joked and cut. That made me so strong with the BS that I eventually dealt with in L.A. It rolled off my back. I didn't care.
And it makes you more honest, too, because you're so used to being called out and calling people out that when something bad happens, instead of the room being uncomfortable, you're like, oh, that was fucking awful.
Yeah, well,
and you're okay acknowledging it.
That was bad. That was me at SNL. Man, those impressions might not make it, huh, guys?
Did you say that at the
No,
audition?
at the audition, when I got done Avery Johnson, I was like, no Avery Johnson fans?
How was your De Niro? Do you still do De Niro in the act?
My De Niro was horrible then. It's still horrible now. It's just screwing up my face. I don't even say a line that De Niro did from the movie. I just that's it. It was one of the
How about
worst.
Denzel? Was your Denzel any good?
No, it was fresh off. Okay. That's it, guys.
That's good. That's really good.
I remember Lauren just eating popcorn, going, He just kept saying, And I was like, y'all want to hear some stand up? It was just the worst.
Did you know you were
audition ever.
bombing?
I knew I was bombing in the impressions. I killed in the stand up.
Oh, you did?
When I got to the impressions, that's when it all went south.
The characters were going
Yeah,
south.
That's when it all. When I got to the part where you had to show why you should be on the show,
Sure.
that's where I was off. Yeah, the stand up, which had
You can
nothing to
prove-
do with SNL.
I'm a comedian.
Yeah, but I cannot do impressions, guys. So I don't think I'm a fit in here at all.
What was the show, too? This is something I remember when you got the show. I didn't know this part of it happened. Like, there's so much shit I didn't know. You get this show, and they're ready. It's on ABC.
Mm-hmm.
What was the name of that show that was about where they brought you to New York to announce it?
The Big House.
That was the Big House.
The Big House. People don't even know this story, man. I got at a young age. I think it was 24, maybe. I think it was about 24. This is when I had a deal. I went to Montreal, did well, got a deal. Nothing happened, and I said, you know what? I said, what I should do is develop my own show. What if I had an idea for a show? I was telling my manager, Dave Becky, and he's like, oh, man, that'd be cool. Like, what's the idea? And I pitched him the idea. I wanted to do the reverse of the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. So basically, it's a guy who's coming from money. Something happened with his parents, and he's forced to go back and live with his other side of the family who's not doing well at all. This is how I wanted to do a spin on my life and talk
Right.
about where I came from, but I just wanted to have a reason to get there. Pitch the show gets picked up. Oh my God, my life is about to change. I'm about to be rich. I've made it. This is crazy. I got my own show. I'm executive producing. I'm a writer on it. I'm starring in it. They picked up 12 episodes. This is unbelievable. Okay, Kevin, you got to go to the upfronts. This is a big deal. What's the upfronts? Tell me what it is. Well, that's where we take the talent and they go to New York and there's this big thing where they announce the show in front of people and you got to take pictures. It's like the best thing ever. Oh my God, do I get a suit? Get a suit. What about the rest of the cast? Well, they only want you there. No, that can't be because I'm not doing a show by myself. You know what? The cast got to come. They're not going to fly the rest of the cast there. Then I'm going to take my money and do it. You know, I don't have a crazy amount of money, but I can afford to fly them. This show don't happen without them.
Right.
I'm flying the whole cast in. I flew the whole cast to New York, put them in hotels myself. Upfront day. Walk out the hotel. Pictures. Nonstop. I'm a star.
Was that your first experience with
My
that?
first experience with that. I'm a star, man. Look at this. I'm walking on the carpet. Everybody, Kevin, hey, Kevin Hart. Hey, the Big House, taking pictures. The most unbelievable feeling ever. I get there. They're like, all right, Kevin, you're going up. You got about 7 minutes. Let's get you backstage. They get me backstage. They wire me, put the mic on me. I'm about to basically walk on stage, and they're going to announce what's new for this fall season, the Big House. Right before I'm about to take a step, there's a guy in front of me. He's just talking in his headset. This is what I hear verbatim. Mm-hmm. I got him. He's right here. Yeah. Okay. And then what? Okay. No, I'm looking at him. Okay. I'm going to do it right now. Send the other one so I know. That way so they can go. Okay. All right. Kevin, you're not going up. I said, sorry. What do you mean? No, we're not using you. You're not going up on this one. Something's going on, but I think they're pulling the show. I don't know, but it sounds like they're pulling the show. I'm sorry. What's going on? This is crazy. What? I'm so confused. What? Just step back. You got to step back. Okay, bring them up. I see another show. 5 people. They're just rushing these people to the stage. The host goes, and the McKinneys, whatever the show
Kelly's
was.
or something?
It was. I forgot the actor. He was short. There's only 3 short guys. It was a short white guy. He had a show, and it was coming on. This when they were recreating TGIF. They bring him up. He whizzes by me. They're high-fiving. They're excited. Dave is running. I see Dave running back, sweating. I don't know where he ran from, sweating. He's like, buddy, Don't panic. I don't know what this is. I've never seen anything like this in a business. This has never happened. I'm going to get to the bottom of this right now. Okay? Don't worry about it. I'm like, what's going on? Right now, they're trying to pull some shit. They're trying to say you're canceled. Okay? And I'm like, what? How? What do you mean I'm canceled? I know. It's crazy. We're going to get to the bottom of it. Just know that I'm on it. Me and Dave go to the back. He said, let's get out of here. Let's go to the hotel. He's on the phone. Everybody's talking to is like, I know, it's canceled. It's canceled. They basically canceled the show. Nobody from the network came to talk to me. Nobody confronted me. Nobody said anything. I said, well, what about the cast? I flew the cast out here. Dave was like, I'm trying to figure it out, man. They're saying that they don't want to fly him back, because they didn't fly him out. I'm like, what the fuck? Oh, my God. So I got to tell the cast. So I have a meeting with the cast about how I flew everybody out, how the show's not getting picked up. It's canceled. I'm sorry, guys. I'm going to try to find out what I can. I'll book you guys flights so you can get out of here. They're down. They're disappointed. Sure. I said, enjoy the rooms. Just, in the morning, you guys can jump on the plane. Cast flies out. Dave goes, do you want to go home? I can have them change your flight so you can leave. I know that this is tough. I said, I'm not going anywhere. I said, this is my first time I've ever experienced anything like this. I'm going to the parties. I'm going to every party. Like, I'm going to have a good time. I went to every single party. Everybody looked at me like I was crazy.
They all knew what happened.
All knew what happened. It spread like wildfire. And it was like, he's got to be on drugs or something. Like, how can he be having a good time? Everybody's just constantly checking on me. You okay? We heard what happened. I'm like, I'm fine. It is what it is. That's life. Hopefully I get the next one. I was prepared for that punch in the stomach because I was already taking so many punches in the stomach.
Right.
So this was a big punch in the stomach, but I had so many that I shoulder shrugged it. I'm going to be all right. I'll be back. I was actually telling that to people, to execs, to studio heads. I'm good. I'll be back. That's just the first time, man. It's the first of many. I was so positive that everybody was mind blown that when things finally turned around and I did come back because they ended up picking the show up later that year and they picked us up for like 6 episodes. Everybody was so happy at the opportunity, they were rooting. Go, Kevin. We're so glad that it finally worked out. We're so glad. 6 episodes, show got canceled again. I was okay. All right, fine. I guess I got to figure out a way to create another show. I'll be all right. But those same studio execs are still in the business today. So the respect and admiration that they have for me for taking that the way that I did has played a major part in the opportunities that I get today because my person was never in question.
You talk about that like in the book a couple of times. Even when you're a kid, you say you have this ability to take these shitty things that happen and just brush them off. Like you talk about that. We were talking about the resentment. Like all this stuff, you don't carry negative stuff with you. And all I could think is, do you worry that you're carrying it? It's all buried.
I don't.
And that at some point it's all going to explode.
It would have exploded already. It would have came out. If that was the case, it would have been came out. I mean, what would I be waiting for? I lost my mother. I mean, I dealt with the craziest stuff that I could deal with from my dad. And
how's he doing, by the way?
My dad's sober now.
Oh, he's really?
He's fine.
Oh, good.
Sober, living in the house. Brought my dad a house, car. He's fine.
Good.
He's
got a tub.
Living. He has a tub. Heat. He's doing good. I mean, if you really look back at the things that I've overcome, it would have come out. At this point, I know why I'm able to shoulder shrug things. And people got choices. I hate that people act like they don't have a choice. You got a choice in any and everything you do. Here's one thing that I'll say to your listeners, and when I say it, just think about it. Do you know how much energy and time it takes to be angry? Do you know how much time it takes to hold a grudge? To really muster up the energy to hold on to a grudge. I don't like you. Every time I see you, I gotta let you know I don't like you. I don't like you. That's energy.
Right.
That's
Feels
energy
bad,
that
too,
I'm throwing all
me.
this stuff. I'm throwing all this stuff your way. And that's energy that I could use to go into something else. Like when I think about my time, I think about my energy. I think about my efforts. How much time and energy do I really have, and how much do I want to put into stuff that's not going to affect me on a day-to-day basis?
To just negative, just nonsense.
Nonsense. I mean, I don't have the time for it. That's why the negativity that I have received, I respond with kindness. I get hate all the time.
I'm always amazed at
people say
comedians, by the way, who it's like a couple of comics have said shit. It's like, for what?
Yeah.
Like, you work. Like, I understand there's certain comics that other comedians don't like, but you're not one of them. And I'm like, guys who are jealous. Like, one guy was bashing you, calling, he's all social media. And this guy has over 1 million Twitter followers. It's like, you're not exactly anonymous, dude. What the fuck you doing?
It's a thing where you have to understand that some people just don't know how to genuinely be happy for a person's success. I know how to be happy for me. I'm not in competition with anybody. I'm not in competition with nobody. I'm in competition with myself. I'm constantly trying to evolve. I'm constantly putting in the work to progress and build up a catalog that can be looked at as Kevin Hart's legacy. I'm getting ready to do another tour so I can have another hour special. I said, well, how many specials do I want? I said, George Carlin did 10. That's amazing to me. That man had 10 specials. I said, man, if I can get close to 10 and have a catalog of comedy that's on par with George Carlin did, that'll be an amazing tap out, man. Because that man did some amazing stuff. And I'm a student, so I've seen it. I've watched it. Kev, what do you want your legacy to be? I'm trying to build something for me. It's not about what other people think. It's not about what other people have to say. Ultimately, everybody's going to have an opinion. That's the world we live in.
And then you're not competing. We have to wrap up the telecast because you have other press. But Kevin, you're not in competition. There's not like it's one spot for one comedian.
No.
There's 1 million fucking. Netflix is doing 52 specials this year. One a week.
Unreal.
I mean, there's 50 spots.
And you can also tell that Kevin's being legit, because I think the people who have that attitude are people that you find end up hanging out with people that are even more successful than they are, because that's who they relate to, that's who they're learning from. And so when you see you hanging out with Jay-Z, hanging out with The Rock, it's like, because you're not you're not a hanger-on, or you're not jealous of these people.
You surround yourself with people that I think can motivate and inspire you to go above and beyond.
Yeah.
And that's what I love about the relationships that I have, man. I mean, look, ultimately, I can say this, people, and I really want you to understand this. It's a good book. It's a really good book. I put my blood, sweat, and tears into this book. These stories are real. But I'm telling this story because I want people to take this information and apply it to themselves. Not to say that my story should be your story. It's just to say that the will and want to win and to be successful comes from within you. And you're going to hear no a lot. But when you finally hear that word yes, it's going to be so worth it. And it's going to make you understand that you can hear it so much more and go above and beyond in creating opportunities for yourself to create your goals. It's not an easy road.
It's amazing. And I'll give you a couple of the book signings Kevin's doing. There will be a line, so just get there early. Tonight, Barnes & Noble in Union Square at 7 o'clock. Then Wednesday, if you're from Philly, the Free Library. Thursday, he's going to be in Washington, D.C. And I'm guessing on your Twitter and your website we'll have all of these dates. But he's got Miami Friday, Saturday, Houston, Sunday, Minneapolis, and The Grove, Monday the 12th at Barnes & Noble in Los Angeles. And having read 90% of this book in like a very short period of time, it really is great. I'm happy for
Thank you, man.
And reading it, I didn't know what to expect. I figured it would be decent, but it was fucking really great, man.
It's great.
It's
Thank you,
funny.
Jim.
There's so much stuff I didn't know about you, and it's interesting to see where you come from because it explains everything and a lot of violence. And it's a great book. I mean, a tremendous book. So congratulations.
It means a lot to me, Jim. Nothing but love for me, man. I'm happy. I love seeing this too.
Me too.
I love seeing it. No, it's
Me
good.
too. Yeah. It's great.